Hey, Bob here. I have a 1971 Manuel Contreras flamenco guitar. A customer from the Naples, Florida area brought it to me yesterday. And he was recommended to me by one of my guitar dealers. And so I took the assignment out of respect to my guitar dealer. Anyway, the problem with the guitar, other than the fact that two people refinished it, and actually the first guy did sand the top a bit, and the second guy was actually a very good luthier, and he tried to fix all the issues, including moving the saddle back. If you look closely here, you will see that if you look closely, there's a little piece of wood in front of the saddle. There it is, you can see it right there. And the saddle was rerouted back another 1 to 2 millimeters, trying to get the intonation right. The guitar maker that did this work is Tom Bizzolo, who's now retired, and he's a very fine luthier from the Connecticut area. He also, at the request of the owner, he put some slots in the head and installed some inexpensive Schaller tuning machines and did a very nice job. It originally had pegs. I was told that also the fingerboard was reshaped to be a little bit more convex to make the bar chords easier. And there is a slight convexity to the side of the fingerboard. And the fretwork is decent, and so on. The repairs that Tom made were excellent. Okay, so what's the problem with it? The problem is when you tap the guitar in the bridge area, something is rattling inside. And I still don't know what, because I checked all the braces, I checked everything inside. However, there is one V-brace right in this area here. Okay, there's a V-brace, and I can't reach it with my big arm and my big hands. I can barely get my hand in the sound hole, but once I'm in there, I cannot reach that V-brace, and it looks like it's possible that that V-brace has become slightly unglued. I don't know for sure, but that's really the only thing that I can see. And I looked at it yesterday for about an hour while the customer was here, and afterwards. And I checked it again in my quiet time, and honestly, at this point, I cannot find the problem. Here's a gorgeous rosette made by Manuel Contreras. Very delicate, very beautiful. It's only 17 millimeters wide, so it's very small and very delicate. It's absolutely gorgeous. There are plenty of scars on this guitar. There's cracks and so on that have been poorly repaired. And the color has been changed. This was a Cypress guitar, and it's been colored. It has a cedar neck, and Tom did a fine job here with putting slots in and tuning machines. I mean, it looks fine. For my taste, the slots are a little on the wide side. I would have made them a little narrower, but still, it works fine. And of course, there used to be a strap button put in here. And of course, it wouldn't go into the rosewood, so the drill bit slipped and it went to the side of it into the softer cypress. And there's a repaired crack by Tom right here. And it's a nicely repaired crack. It's hard to match the color of any crack. And down here on the bottom, another hole for a end pin for the strap. So despite, oh, and here's a nice crack which has not been repaired. And there's a crack up here running alongside of the foot inside the guitar. Okay, and that's not been repaired. The entire side, on the treble side, there is a very poorly repaired crack that runs almost the entire length of the side. You can see it. That's interesting. I mean, those holes, I know what they're for. They're to put a wire through, but those are just gigantic. I don't know what hack repairman did this work. Even the super glue filling the crack was never sanded flush. It's just a bastardized job of a beautiful guitar. It is a beautiful guitar. Manuel Contreras was a great guitar maker. Make no mistake about that. He was great, and so is his son. And unfortunately, they're both deceased. They built in the Ramirez style, so there's significant angle of the neck, the geometry. It's a flamenco guitar, so I do understand the neck being up a little higher than normal to produce low action. But that said, the neck is up way too high. It's up probably almost a quarter of an inch off of the zero line. It's way up at this end, okay? And however, despite that, the action here is 9 millimeters from the top of the guitar to under the string. 9 millimeters and about 3.2 here. So with those numbers, it can't be too bad. It was intentionally made to be a flamenco guitar for low action. And to get that low action of a flamenco guitar, this wood here would have to be planed down. The slot would have to be made deeper. And instead of 9 here, you'd end up with about 7, maybe even 6. Very low, it would be very, very low. But in any case, I would say even though it's a flamenco, it really is sort of set up like a classical. I've cleaned the frets and the fingerboard. Still will, and then just wipe it off with a paper towel. I used to oil fingerboards until I found out that the oil tarnished the frets. So I don't do that anymore. It's inside, it's 5 fan braces parallel to each other. And it's got a cross brace here and a cross brace here, a round pad under the sound hole, under the rosette, and V-brace. It's very simple guitar, nothing to it. Individual tentallones around the top with a separation between each tentalone of 1/16 to maybe 3/32. And it's white glue inside. I don't see hide glue. So anyway, I don't know what to do to this thing, and nor do I have a lot of time to play with it and to goof around with it. I did clean it. There's a lot of spit on it and stuff, and I went over with a damp paper towel and wiped it down carefully and all over the whole guitar. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it from this point, although typically my job is to fix these things, and I don't like to let a guitar out of here without fixing it. But I can't fix it unless I know what to fix. And I'm not seeing anything inside that's out of the ordinary. Now, I'll have this guitar for perhaps a week or more. So I'll continue to look inside of it. I'm going to tighten up the strings now and play it a little bit because I've never played it. I haven't played it yet. As soon as the guy got here yesterday, I tapped on the bridge and I could hear this rattle. So something's going on. And the only thing I can really see is the V-brace on this side. It looks like it might be loose in the middle. The ends are, at the end of every brace, Contreras put a little drop of white glue. So I know that it's not coming up at the ends, but the brace seems like it might have possibly separated in the middle of it. I can see what looks to be maybe a little bit of an opening. While my hand was in there, I tried to slide a piece of paper underneath the brace, but my hand is large, and this is a very 81 millimeter sound hole. It's quite a small sound hole, smaller than mine, and I can barely get my hand in there, let alone my big arm, and find out what's going on. But I can clearly see what's going on in there with this nice light bulb, which stays cool the entire time. With the light bulb and an inspection mirror, wherever I put it, here we are, over here, just a nice big inspection mirror. So anyway, 1971 Manuel Contreras. One more time for you, if I can zoom in. And that's his signature. Interesting that the label is not centered. Where's my finger? My finger's in the picture. Oh, there it is, yeah. The label's not centered on the back strip, which, I scratched my head. Okay. But it's real. He made it in 1971. It's a lovely guitar, very lightweight. I don't like the color of the stain. Somebody stained it, and it's just kind of, it's not a looker. I love the rosette. It's gorgeous rosette, and I love looking at it inside. And I do like the Contreras head. And some of them I think are even more fancy than this one. But it's a lovely guitar, and I'm going to put the camera down now, tighten the strings. I also blew the inside of the guitar out with my air compressor, and I blow and I use my vacuum at the same time. So as I'm blowing, all the shit that's coming out goes into my vacuum. And there was a lot of dust and fuzz balls in there, and it was pretty gross inside, but it's nice now. So I don't know if I'll fix it, but I at least cleaned it. And if I don't fix it, I won't charge the guy anything. It's just fun. I'm sort of retired now, so it's just fun to, to have one come in. And I wouldn't probably have taken it unless it was a decent guitar. I don't mean to sound like a snob, but my time is running out. So I don't want to be looking at Sears and Roebuck guitars, This is a great little guitar by a great maker. And actually, I shouldn't say little, because it's actually a 660 scale length. It's 329 from the fret, from the nut to the 12th fret is 329 millimeters. And from the 12th fret to the bridge, since Tom Bozzolo moved the saddle back, it's now 330 millimeters. Okay? So Tom managed to get 1 millimeter of compensation in there, which helps the intonation. It'll never be perfect because the saddle isn't back far enough. So, like I said, 329 from here to the middle of the 12th fret, and 330 from the middle of the 12th fret to the middle of the saddle. Okay, and the saddle is not compensated in any way. But Tom managed to reroute this bridge, and you can see there's a piece of wood that's been put beside the saddle, and the saddle was pushed back this way to add compensation, string compensation. And he did a good job. There's also a shim under this saddle, and I didn't touch it, but I did notice the bottom of the saddle was very rough and not completely flat, so I very lightly sanded it over some 220 and 400 sandpaper, and then I killed the edges of it with a fine piece of this yellow sandpaper, which I like. It's very, very fine. Oh, it's probably 400 grit. I just killed the edges of it so it would not get bound in any way as it went into the slot. The bottom edges, I should say. Okay? That's it. Bob Desmond wrapping it up. 1971. Manuel Contreras. Great guitar maker. I have no clue what it sounds like, but it must sound good. I think one more thing I'll do to it before I restring it or tighten the strings, I will get out my digital measuring device and I will measure the thickness of the top just for the fun of it. Okay? Bob signing out.